We've got some new bugs to talk about, and we've got some bugs we've spoken about before, but they are behaving a bit differently. So our first problem is to do with Gordi's lost print skin. This user said Gordi's right side bottom of the cape snaps forwards. Here's a short zoomed in clip of it. And as we can see on the right side, the cape does snap forward as if some frames of animation are missing compared to the left side that is smooth. Another problem to do with Gordi's lost print skin. This user said instead of his black fire, it's the whole animation spreadsheet. Let's see what they're talking about. So this is Gordi's lost print skin. As you can see, the black fire animation is the whole image that I guess the devs use, and it's not loading properly. We've talked about our next bug before, but this is a severe case. This user said people were accusing Care Bear Shelly of doing this, but we weren't entirely sure, so might as well show it here. Let's take a look. So it looks like the skin is completely bugged out, and this is the most severe case I've ever seen. There was a Louis skin that was doing this, but it wasn't as severe as this. This is destroying the whole map, and other players can see it as well. What is going on with Dandy's World? If you've been playing Dandy's World for a while now, you know that stealth is a bit buggy, it's inconsistent, and it's unreliable. This user said, not sure if it's a bug that's recent, but Roger did not use an air horn and I did not turn any sharp corners. Let's take a look. So Gordi is walking. Okay, let's see what happens. Twisted Brusher spots Gordi. Okay. And then Twisted Brusher just loses interest of Gordi, who has 1 stealth, and goes for the Roger, who has 3 stealth. So this is a perfect example of stealth being unreliable. So when you're playing Dandy's World, make sure to try and stay away from Twisteds and don't assume that Twisteds won't go for you just because your stealth is higher. Stay very safe. Our next bug is quite old, but I don't believe I've covered it, and it still seems to be happening to players. This user said, my inventory hearts and a jump button. So this user is on a mobile device, it seems, and they've got a jump button. Their inventory is filled with icon drops. So this looks like a major user interface failure to load. And if this happens to you, I guess the only thing you could do is rejoin and hopefully it will stop. Mobile devices are definitely the most buggy out of all of the devices you can play on. Our next bug is to do with Eggson, and apparently he can jump in the lobby. What? So this user said if you jump right after transforming as Eggson, you can jump. What? This user also did the same thing, and they said this bug is so funny and provided a video. Let's take a look. So right after selecting Eggson, if you press your jump button, you can jump as Eggson, and it seems to only be working with Eggson, and it only works in the lobby, the game lobby. Super funny. Our next problem is to do with Twisted Astro and some inconsistencies in his model. So this user has pointed out that Twisted Astro's picture does not have the black pants he has in game. As you know, when Twisted Astro was optimized, he received black pants, and the dev team have not included a black pants in the picture. This user has also pointed out that the Astro plushes in the game don't have black pants, so I guess people are wondering if the dev team will update assets to do with Astro and give him black pants. Our next bug is to do with Yata and her passive ability to spawn candies. So we all know that Yata can spawn candies under objects or on top of objects. It's quite normal now. However, this user said Gumballs grew wings, and if we take a closer look, the Gumballs have spawned on top of Twisted Razzle and Dazzle. I'm sure Twisted Razzle and Dazzle is not happy with this. So I guess there is an invisible model on top of Twisted Razzle and Dazzle. That's super interesting. Our next bug is to do with Twisted Connie and when she possesses a machine. So usually when Connie possesses a machine you are extracting, you're supposed to stop extracting without being harmed. However, this user said Twisted Connie will now hit you if she goes into a machine while you're actively on it, unlike where she used to just kick you off. Might just be a new feature, I don't know. So we haven't got a video proof of this, so you guys be on the lookout and see what happens if Connie possesses a machine you are extracting and if she hits you, because as far as I'm aware she's not supposed to hit you whilst you're extracting. Our next bug is to do with the elevator. This user said I was so confused. Let's take a look at what they're talking about. So the tunes are in the elevator and and there's a Shelly on the outside. And this is the voting stage, so it's not like the Shelly was a second too late to enter the elevator. No, this is happening during the voting stage, and Shelly is on the outside. Very weird. I wonder what that Shelly saw, if they were really on the outside or if it's just a visual glitch on this user's end. Our next bug is to do with Blot Jr. and this bug is very unusual. So this user said, had a kind of funny bug in a public lobby. A random Blot Jr. spawned at Ellie that I did not place. I was the only Blot in the run. It had collision too. I placed one next to it and they both stayed the entire run, always there when we came out of the elevator. Everyone in the lobby saw them. I tried to spawn more, but only these two stayed every round. And the one with the collision seemed to attract Twisteds, but wouldn't break. Let's take a look at what they're talking about. Like, what is going on? Okay, so they're playing Blot. There's 2 Blot Juniors, but there's only 1 Blot in the game. And as you can see, Yata actually attacked the Blot Jr., but the Blot Jr. is still there. So they go into the elevator to the next floor. And the 2 Blot Juniors are still there. What? And the right Blot Junior seems to have collision. As you can see, Cole cannot go through that Blot Junior. It has collision. So Blot just spawned another Blot, and now there's 3 Blot Juniors. Oh my word, what is happening to Dan as well? This is so creepy. So this is happening to other players, where Blot Junior seems to stay after being placed and doesn't despawn, even when you go to other floors. Our next bug is to do with research capsules and something very strange happening. So this user said, the tapes around the capsules aren't there for some reason, and it's really hard to tell whether or not Roger is actually on the floor. By tapes, they are talking about the film that is wrapped around capsules to indicate that they are research capsules. So let's take a watch. So as we can see, that looks like a Roger capsule. And this looks like a Roger capsule as well, but it's a research capsule. So the film that is wrapped around the capsules haven't loaded, and all the capsules look like Roger capsules. So this is definitely a loading problem, but I've never seen a loading problem be as weird as this one. Our next bug is to do with the user interface. This user said no sprint button appears, you just got to press around it. Also happens in lobby. This is very annoying, especially in game. So they've provided a picture, and as you can see, their sprint button has disappeared, but it's still there. They can still press the screen, but they have to press around the screen to find where it is exactly. Super annoying. Hopefully rejoining would fix that problem. And our last bug is to do with loading problems, but again, a very weird and annoying loading problem. This user said Razzle Dazzle circle is completely gone. And if we take a look, so Razzle and Dazzle's circle, which lets you know how big the circle is not there. This is a disaster, especially if you're playing with other players. Nobody will know how big the circle is and where the limits are. And this was happening to all the players on the floor.